Hey everybody, welcome to the Yellhorn Podcast, the competitive Pokemon TCG podcast. I am PJ Witusik here with my lovely co-host Zach. Zach, hello.
Hey, how's it going, PJ? How's everything going with you today?
Oh, it's going great. There is some awesome things that have been happening in the meta. We got to see some regional wins this past weekend. I had a family birthday. We got to go out in the sunshine. Everything's great. Pokemon's great. Summer's great. It's awesome.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily a fan of the summer. I feel like I'm too pale and white for this kind of season. So I just like burn up. I think I'm allergic to my own sweat. So that's my own diagnosis. I'm not a doctor. But I did play in a League Cup, and I ended up doing pretty good too. So it was our downtown 401 Games League Cup in Toronto, and I made top four. So it was pretty cool. I think there was about 45 masters. But we were paired with seniors and juniors because there wasn't enough. So about 50 players overall, made for a super fun day.
Yeah, awesome. And I mean, some of those seniors played at the same caliber as masters too. So, you gotta watch out for the sneaky seniors every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, in multiple ways. I think seniors divisions is the one where they kind of get a little bit gutsy with their stuff. I've seen some seniors pull some things that I'm not necessarily proud of them doing, but we'll jump into that in a whole other episode when the Pokemon community's crumbling. It was
Yeah.
actually like wild because like I was counting off the top of my head. Toronto's such a like super competitive area. We had 6 national champions in the room from Masters. And then we also had like others who are like from the seniors division who aged up, who have their own like national champion, international champion. Um,
Mhm.
and I mean, it's just wild. Like when you're round 3 opponents randomly Kieran Farah, top 16 North American player, you're like, okay, cool, that's sick. Luckily, I just like Arctur Umbreon goes burr, and I was able to pull out strong. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, our area is crazy difficult sometimes, and even the
Yeah.
players that don't seem like they have accomplishments are like, oh yeah, I top 4 to regionals, I top 8 at regionals. It's not the same as every other local. I think
Mhm.
I don't know. It was
Yeah.
crazy, but the prize support was sick. I walked away with
Yeah.
80 store credits and 2
Absolutely.
packs.
I know, and you were showing me some of the cup weekends that you have. You have double cup weekends where I feel like in the middle of the state of New York, we're kind of in a drought here, where I have to
Yeah.
drive like 2 hours, 4 hours to a cup, and they're not happening consistently or consecutively. It's like, one weekend, a couple more weekends. So just looking at Zach's area in comparison to mine, there were so many more cups within a drivable area. So it
Well,
is
there's
cool
weird
to
things
see that.
going on too, right? Like we
Mhm.
saw. I think you and I earlier today were looking at that there may or may not be a Rochester Cup
Right.
tomorrow,
Yeah,
like
on a
just
Tuesday.
random Tuesday League Cup. And I'm not sure if that's a scheduling mishap because I mean it happens,
Right.
or if it's literally a Tuesday League Cup. I have not thought about it.
Yeah,
But maybe catch us in Rochester.
yeah,
Also, this past weekend we saw our new member onto the Shuffle Squad, Natalie Miller. She thought she made top cut at the League Cup. Should have made top cut at the League Cup. Then the organizers like, we forgot to make it top 8, so we made it top 4. You didn't make top cuts. So I mean, New
uh,
York State, because everything we're talking about is New York State now.
mm,
Got some weird things going on, I guess. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I don't know either. There's been some mishaps. I've seen some stores, not even in just New York State, but in other parts of the U.S. where there's supposed to be league cups and there wasn't, or there's like a finite amount. It's just kind of weird. I'm really looking forward to the next season where maybe a lot of this gets sorted out. League cups come back to a plethora of new stores. I know personally, I've seen about 3 or 4 card shops open in the past couple of months nearby. So I'm hopeful for the new season of Pokemon. And speaking of new things, Zach, we have lots of things to discuss on this episode here. We're talking about new members of the Shuffle Squad on this
Yeah.
episode. So we have 3 brand new members that we welcomed to our team over the past few weeks here, and we're super excited about all of them. And I'm gonna let Zach kind of go through the roster update as of now.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So if anyone saw about maybe 2 months ago, maybe a month and a half ago, we put out a Google form to add some members to Shuffle Squad because we've been kind of one of those things where we've been selective of who we've chosen in the past.
Right.
So Shuffle Squad can almost be like the Secret Society, another TSS, where PJ and Zach can maneuver through the DMs like the slipperiest, slimiest management team, and we grab who we want for the most parts. And we have. We've done a really good job at targeting players that we thought would be a good fit for the team. And you want to know what, in a lot of other cases, no shade at anyone who's been on TSS, sometimes we made some fundamental mistakes in that as well. So there's some members that are great members of our community that might have not necessarily fit on shuffle squads, or we might have found out afterwards that we don't have the same beliefs in terms of how a competitive team should be running. Or we don't necessarily have, like, there's just differences, creative differences, and differences is standard. So PG and I created a Google form. We're like, this should be a pretty catch-all, and that Google form is something that we will also reference in the future if we're adding more people. So if you were one of the people that applied, don't necessarily think that since you weren't chosen, that you were not eventually chosen. And I think that's something that I do want to kind of start off, because PJ, have you got any DMs about like joining the Shuffle Squad or not joining the Shuffle Squad?
I mean, it's pretty much a constant thing. As you know, one of the owners and managers, creators of the Shuffle Squad, I consistently get DMs. Can I be on? What does it take to be on the Shuffle Squad? And it really is an accumulation of multiple different things. It's not just, you're a really great player or you're a really good content creator. It's all of these things that fit together like a puzzle that make up the members of the Shuffle Squad, because you have to think now we're almost coming up on 3 full years of the Shuffle Squad, which is insane to think about now. But we have made mistakes. We've learned from those mistakes, and then we keep moving forward piece by piece to create the best team in Pokemon TCG. And that's what I think that we have created, and that's what I know that the longevity plan of the Shuffle Squad is. And that's really where we come. It might not be anything that you've done, or your accomplishments might be great, but in other aspects, there might be room for you to grow. And I think that everybody has that. I myself also look at that.
I have things to grow on, right? Like, it's one of those things where, like, I look at it, and as I've kind of found this role as a TSS pro team manager, social media manager, let's just call it management, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. It's one of those things where I feel like my play has kind of slipped up a little bit. I don't necessarily playtest as much as I should for regionals. But I've been really like kind of fueling my fire, getting ready for next season. Now, don't get me wrong, I got my invite to Worlds a minute ago, so we're good. Right. But I think like next season, it's just kind of a new focus. So that being said, there's a lot of players on there, and just because you didn't get chosen this time, we are going to look in the future to add more players. Probably put out another Google form, but we do have a list. We cross-check everything. And also the other thing that might negatively affect you, by the way, if you're out here listening, and everyone should be listening to the L Horn. So if you're on a podcasting service, hit that 5-star review button or whatever it looks like. I don't know. I don't listen to podcasts, and I probably should. If you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, holla at us on Twitter. But it's one of those things where if you come back and be like, I'm a better player than insert player here or something like that, because I've had multiple messages, and they're like, oh, I'm better than this new member here for sure. Look, I placed better than at one tournament. Your Twitter game probably sucks. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, you probably don't understand how social media works, and considering we're largely a social team when it comes to things, if you have zero Twitter presence, or if you have zero Twitch presence, zero YouTube presence, zero social media presence at all, but you're a really good player, odds are you're not a good fit for our team. And that's one thing that we've learned. If you don't know how to support a team that, I mean, PJ, I'll just be out with it. We primarily make the most of our money that we support our team with through social media-based contracts.
Correct.
There's a reason why there are other teams. Every other team before us has come and failed. Pokemon TCG teams suck. I've been on at least like 5 failed concepts. And when I say failed, they might last for a year, they might last for a couple months, and I'm sure that there's going to be other teams around us that will crumble in the near future. There might be other teams that come out, and maybe they'll replicate us, and maybe we'll fail too. But right now, the Shuffle Squad is cash flow positive, so that's cool. As a brand new LLC, we are cash flow positive. We have opportunities to add players.
Hmm.
and we've created an ecosystem where we are welcoming, we are desirable. We have created the best Pokemon TCG playing team across the board. We have created one of the best YouTube channels across the board, and we're also one of the best content methods on Patreon across the board. So,
Yep.
lots of good things going on. But that being said, we added 3 new members. I know we got a little bit
Yeah.
sidetracked. Let's talk about our first new member. We'll talk about Natalie Miller.
Yeah.
So that's the one that we announced Natalie last. And I think people had a hunch because I think she posted on some social media or maybe told some friends like, oh, I got some big news coming. It all kind of led up to this perfect storm. I got a bunch of DMs being like, is it Natalie? And I'm like, no leaks, no leaks. Shh. But then we also we put the pink writing, I think, and there was the cow prints. And PJ at first was like, dude, Zach, you can't go with the cow print. Like that might be like, people might look at that a different way and be like,
I know we've been playing in the South, Zach, but we can't yeehaw this one. It was just one of those things where I wanted to be, you know, as welcoming as we could too, and we didn't want to put a bad taste in anybody's mouth. But you know what? Natalie's a great sport with all of that. Always.
I mean, she also only plays Miltank for the most part. Right. So we got to give some like hunches. I wanted people to guess things right. We gave away codes, and I mean, some people are like fire with these guesses. Some people are, some people like just didn't get it. But I thought it was fun.
But yeah, it's cool, and that's another reason why social media presence is so good for you as a Pokemon player, as really anything. I mean, if you look at sports players or even esports players, to be more specific, a lot of them are active on social media, and so is Natalie. Natalie's a fantastic writer, so if you aren't subscribed to our Patreon account too, we do have a Patreon where we post PTCG competitive articles all the time, and Natalie actually is perfect for that role as well. A lot of great things, especially working with the pro team now, with TSS, getting the insight from all the pros. And Natalie herself is actually on par for qualifying for the World Championships.
Yeah, that's one of the things that one of the reasons why. So we're not just looking for social media gods, because there's some of y'all out there that are better at socials than I am. We were looking for a blend, and I think it's compelling to have players who are searching for worlds. Now, and when I say searching for worlds, there's always that one person at local that's like, I'm at 100 CP, so if I top 8 NAIC, I'm going to get it. It's like, look, I'm not here to burst your bubble. You likely aren't, the same way that I'm likely not, the same way that, well, Grant Manley actually might. Grant Manley always top 8s every event. But it's one of those things where, like, if I can't say that Alex is top 8ing NAIC, our current EUIC champ, no one can just top 8 NAIC, right? It's one of those things where it's tough. And but so far, Natalie, she has 2 day 2 appearances this year. Made top 128 at both Salt Lake City and Arlington, both with Blissey themed decks. Yeah, not Blissey themed decks, Blissey themed decks. And I think now like she's kind of taken off the Blissey vibe because Blissey's not super relevant right now. Could be, but I know with a few cups and NAIC, her invite's super realistic. So I'm rooting for her. I think the whole team's rooting for her. Got a lot of great things going on there, and it's one of those things where the future is up. It's coming up soon. Like we're almost next season. I'm really excited to see how this next season flourishes with the support of a professional esports team as well. I think that almost only helps players out because we're a supportive group of players. Like. PJ and I are always in the DMs being like, how can we get you a pack of sleeves? Like, like when you were like, if you ever played when you were in seniors and you're like, Mom, Dad, can I have a juice box? We are the mom, dads of the Pokemon community for our team. So if someone needs a pack of sleeves, we got them. If they need a card for their deck, we got them. We've helped out players getting in tournaments.
You're welcome. Here you go.
Yeah, get a spot on our Airbnb that we have. And I mean, it's one of those things where we have a lot of cool things going on for our team, and we support them. And I mean, literally, as we're talking, PJ and I are planning like a TSS team dinner. So if you're a TSS member and you should be listening to this, or if you're not on TSS and you might see us at a restaurant, don't record us. We might have a few drinks, but it's one of the.
It's all in good fun.
It's all in good fun. I mean, record us. Do whatever you want. I think it's all fun. But yeah, that's Natalie. I'm really excited to see how she does. and also adding some representation because I know she's still on Girl Power and their social media manager. So I think like having Natalie on our team is such an important role for the community. Definitely one of the pillars in our community, and I'm so happy to have her on TSS as this kind of joint venture.
Right.
So.
And it's great because honestly, that's where we started and where we want to go. So, more inclusivity is where my mindset was always with Pokemon. I wanted to grow it into this great big thing. And here we are with a lot more eyes on us, a lot more people in seats at regionals and doing the thing. We have the biggest event coming up at NAIC, the biggest event ever in Pokemon TCG.
Well, I mean, at the same time, I think TSS, like, not to say that we've always been inclusive. I mean, we don't necessarily, like, that's something that we don't even factor in when it comes into things. I'm just looking for the best people at everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
just,
I mean,
it's a nice caveat to add on to
yeah, exactly. Natalie's just a super welcome addition to the team when it comes down to it. And I think, like, I played her actually in day 2 of Arlington. And she's a fierce competitor. I think it's one of those things where I'm just super excited. I'm really hoping for the rest of our team for NAIC.
And at my locals too, Natalie's made some people cry right in front of me. I love it.
Yeah, I know. That's where, like, Natalie's, like, literally the bridge in between PJ and I, between, like, Central New York, Upstate New York, and Southern Ontario. And we kind of have this, like, we both play, like, we all play in these, like, locals and kind of ping pong back and forth. But we'll have to see how that goes. So next up, PJ, we have King Dre Clouds, Dreoxys.
Yeah,
let's
Dreoxys.
go. Let's fucking go, Dreoxys. Like, I'll let you. You wrote an article about Dreoxys before Dre was on the team.
You know what? Dre made me a believer in Deoxys, for sure. Always posting these lists, getting grilled on Twitter, and then just coming out swinging. I mean, look at the amazing season Dre has had. Social media game is up there. Being recognized as a legitimate player. When nobody really knew who Dre was in the grand scheme of things before Pokemon blew up, mid-COVID. Here Dre is just slamming it out of the park. So many cool things, so many cool list ideas. Love having deck builders on the team too. Dre's got a wonderful creative mind. Going into this is such a wholesome person too. Dre has grown on me significantly over the course of prepping him for the team. And I really love to see his camaraderie with the team itself. He's
been a huge ally to TSS throughout the whole season.
Absolutely. So really, really happy to have Dre on the team. Excited to meet you. I know I've seen you in passing, but excited to meet Dre in person at NAIC and do great things in the future. And I really think that Dre is the person on the team that we needed to be our internal hype person, as well as our external hype person. And Dre really is the real deal here for the team. And I think working with more and more of the pros is going to get Dre to that next level.
Yeah, because he's super close to his invite, ridiculously close. I think he's at 270 CPs, I could see from Twitter. So 80 CP, we might see a top 16. I know he's heading to Fresno this week. Yeah. And with that power, I mean, I know before Vancouver Regionals, I was just short of my invite. I'm like, if I make top 16 at this event, like sometimes that gives you the power necessary to kind of push through the rest. And maybe it's going to be with Deoxys, maybe it's not. But I mean, this year they've had 3 day 2s with Deoxys, all making top 64, Salt Lake, San Diego, Portland. And I mean, I think the biggest moment for them of the season is Hartford and Malmo regionals. Both were won by Fusion Mew. And it's one of those things where you got to feel like the most, like, you got to feel like the greatest dude on earth. Like, I think it's better than a birthday, right? Where it's just like, you were kind of right all along.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're making your little hot takes here and there, and then all of a sudden your hot take is one of the best decks out there. Mew fell off for a long time, and it wasn't the same Mew that Dre was playing, and Dre just kept on chugging until
getting those results quietly. Being
Right.
well, not even quietly, they were pretty vocal about it, being like, "I
Oh
think this
yeah.
deck's good." And you want to know what I
Yeah.
feel like that? Like on a personal note, when I played Blacephalon GX back in 2019, I think is probably
Yeah.
the year 2018, 2019 season.
17.
Um, I got told that it's like the meme deck. I mean, Blacephalon, like a lot of people were calling it like the Miraidon of that format. Obviously,
Right.
Miraidon didn't exist, but that's kind of
Yeah.
the same vibe. And I made
Mhm.
top eight, and people started playing it, and then they were like, "Oh no, Zach just got that kind of one hit wonder kind of top eight," because it can happen. We saw Miraidon top eight at I think even EUIC, but bringing it back with a couple wins. I mean, it's one of those things where like being able to prove everyone that your concept is that good, I think is huge.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, people are more and more adapting to the decks that we've been building. I mean, look during the COVID reign where we had Zashi and Zamazenta was one of our ideas. Gengar was one of our ideas. Gengar VMAX. We've had a lot of good deck ideas within TSS, and I think that you'll see more of that in the season to come, especially with Paldea Evolve right around the corner. We're already cranking out decks. Again, shout out to our Patreon account. If you aren't subscribed, you can see all the new deck lists there, and you'll also be able to check those out on our YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube as well. But Dre, we've said enough about Dre. I'm sure Dre will be on a couple of these podcasts, hopefully soon.
We hope
Um,
so.
but yeah, but we have a third member here. Blake Ray was also added onto the team. So Blake is a newer addition from the western area of the states here.
Texas.
Yes, yeah, from Texas. So also we're part of the management for TSS is so it's pretty handy to have more Western players. I know Cal Connor is from the West Coast there, and we needed a little bit more
There's
on
no
top
way
of
Texas
adding
is
Drake.
West Coast, PJ.
I
Stop.
mean, it's Western. Everything's
Have
West to me. New
everything.
York.
I get it. I mean, I'm west of PJ. He's like, "Yep, Zach lives in
Yeah,
Western
yeah.
Canada." According to
Western
PJ,
Canada.
it's like
Yeehaw.
Maine's east, I guess. Maine's truly east.
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, Blake's had a bit of a great season, making day
Yeah.
two three times. And I think
Hmm.
he's made points at a few more regionals as well. So just because you don't make
Yeah,
day two doesn't mean you can't make points. Um,
exactly.
top 32 Peoria, top 128 at Salt Lake and Portland.
Mhm.
So solid season across the board. Blake just got his invite to Worlds. I think
Yeah,
maybe a few weeks ago.
right.
Um,
Yeah, with some cup wins or cup top placements at
so
least.
yeah, with cups coming back, a lot of players kind of getting their invites, and I mean, I think most of our players who are like mainly players on TSS are all within range of getting their invites. Um,
Correct.
so all very active players. I mean, I've seen Blake at tournaments. Blake's honestly been one of the nicest players that I've ever had the chance to talk to.
Yep.
Just kind of like hanging out, super welcoming, super
Hmm.
chill. Um, Definitely chill with a lot of people on Shuffle Squad already as well.
Right,
So that's one
right,
thing. Like, if you want to be on Shuffle Squad's not just like a job thing. Hang out with us at events.
right.
There's a good chance you might just get added on the team, and that's not to say that we're gonna choose people based off of like, oh, you're our friend. Like, I have friends that are not on Shuffle Squad,
Right.
but I think it like adds the right mix. So if you're like someone who wants to be on Shuffle Squad, maybe supporting our posts, maybe supporting us at tournaments, being chill, talking to us in between rounds. Um,
Yep. Yeah,
Shuffle
come
Squad
up
does
and
a
say hi.
lot.
We're just people at the end of the day,
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
we love to talk about Pokemon. We love to talk about how your day is going. We're always here. I've signed quite a few play mats and cards and things like that, which is really cool. It's a great experience for me. I'm the type of person that comes from a touring musician background, and this is my touring now. This is going to all the regionals, going to the events with the team. Now we all have our jerseys. You'll see Blake out there with his jersey pretty soon. NAIC jerseys are going live, so you're going to see the brand new design of jerseys also. So I'm really pumped about that. But we're doing great things out here with all three ads onto the team. Again, all solid in a multitude of different ways, and I think that this is just the tip of the iceberg here for growth for TSS. I think that we have a long way to go. Zach and I, again, just like Zach was talking about, we might, as management, not have as much time to test and play as our pros or our content team do. But that's because we're working on other things for the community. We're working on bigger and better things for TSS, and we keep it moving. You know, everybody here is also for TSS. Everybody that's added onto the team wants to be a part of this movement that we have here. And
Yeah.
that's where I think that a lot of other teams don't have that, where they're just, you know, a card store or a person that wants to have an esports style team, where we have multiple different parts that are making everything work.
Yeah.
And just like our three new players, they're all parts to that moving machine that is TSS. And I don't think that you'll see that really anywhere else in Pokemon TCG, and I love being a part of it. So shout out to every TSS member and everybody that supports the Shuffle Squad for sure.
100%. I mean, we wouldn't be here without you, and we wouldn't be here without our crazy hopes, dreams, aspirations.
Right.
I mean, from TSS starting like a year ago to being like, we want to be the best. Well, TSS restarting, I think, around a year ago. Because
Yeah.
we've had a few iterations of TSS that, I mean, I don't think they worked. I mean, the idea was solid to be a team, but I think that was in replication towards other teams that were popular at the time.
Right.
Now, with this new mindset and kind of goal moving forward, we've achieved a lot. We have a full team. We picked up some amazing sponsors along the road. I'm so excited to showcase all of our new jerseys that we're getting. PJ has them at his house right now, but I'm hoping.
I'm hoarding them.
Yeah, he's hoarding them, and I kind of feel like a boomer because I was like, I just need to go to the store and get it now. I need PJ to drive across the border, give it to me, because I don't trust it getting here before NAIC with this Canadian postal system.
That's
But
true.
we New Jersey's full team. I mean, multiple accomplishments throughout the entire season, multiple Worlds invites. Alex winning EUIC,
Yeah.
late night
If you look
series
at the
offering a trip to Japan. Like
Right,
someone
yeah.
is going to win a trip to Japan from the late night series.
Exactly. And I know that, you know, we've been touching on the late night a little bit more, you know, with all of our bumps and bruises that we've had from PTCG Live, we're making it work, you know, and that's the thing that we wanted to do. Nobody out there is doing this for the community. Nobody's sending people to Japan. Even if you don't have the world invite, get a spectator badge and just go because you won the late night. We're going to pay for it. We're going to get you there on the plane. We're going to get you a hotel. Everything is good to go. And that's part of what we're doing. You know, that's part of being on this team. You're supporting the cause. If you're supporting the team, you're supporting that cause too. We want to keep doing things like this for the community because we know that without us, there's not going to be anything else out there like this. TPCI, unfortunately, I hate knocking on other companies' doors, but you know what? We want to see this from you guys too. If you're out there listening, we want to see this movement. I know that there's a lot of eyes on Pokemon as a sport, and it's going to get bigger. It's going to grow bigger than it was this past season. We're coming out of the COVID era of Pokemon, and we're going to get full-fledged Pokemon again for the next upcoming season.
Let's make it a big
you know,
thing, right? And I think it's a challenge to anyone at Pokemon to really try to live up with the hype that's going on. I felt like NEIC was a slap in the face to the community, to be honest. And whether or not that's a slap that they could control or not, like sometimes you're driving down an icy road. I'm in Canada. Sometimes my car slips into a ditch and there's nothing I can do. I know it's a slippery road. I think being more transparent with their decisions, being like, yeah, there's a hard cap. Yeah, we aren't adding more spots. Yeah, we're going to work towards having more spots for this event in the future. PJ is one of the people that did not get in. There's other members of TSS who did not get in. And I think I think that's just really one of the harsh things to kind of see when it comes down to Pokemon, that there's people who love this game who can't participate in the game that they want. And it might be due to scalpers. I know there's a lot of people that were trying to play at NAIC with the playmats, getting that swag bag and stuff. Pokemon's a really desirable game. I just hope that it's well taken care of going into the future for the game. I also think that they could offer more prize support in general. Over this past weekend, we saw even Chile Regionals. Chile Regionals cut down on prize support from what I've seen on Twitter. There's opportunities across the board to do better, improve the game, flood the game with a little bit more cash. Flooding the game with more cash also probably brings on more players. So, let's project our growth. Let's find opportunities as a community. but we also need the company that makes these decisions to kind of follow through.
Right, and that's the other part about the Shuffle Squad that nobody else sees. That's the behind the curtains, is that we have sponsors that see what we're doing for the community and fund us. And all that money doesn't go to management staff. It really doesn't. It goes back to the players to keep the players doing what they're doing, to keep them feeling supported and seen and needed in this community. And that's what we're trying to grow here. It's just an idea that we're trying to pass along for a game that we all love. And I love being a part of it every day.
Yeah, same here. I think, and that kind of wraps things up in kind of full circle of where we're looking for when it comes to adding on the best players from Shuffle, or adding the best players to Shuffle. We're looking out for the community. We see when people are leaders or becoming leaders, or we see the potential in a lot of people. And if TSS had 100 spots, we'd fill up 100 slots. Like, I think it's one of those things where there's a lot of members. Maybe financially you're not at our price point yet. Maybe we're like adding on someone else. There's players for every single role, and the players that we chose are in their role for a reason. And it's not to say TSS picked them because they're cheaper than a world champ. That's not how it goes. If we wanted a world champ, trust me, Hassan, one of the owners, he's like, we're buying a world champ, right? We'll make it happen, any cost. So like, it just depends on what we're going for at the time. But I'm really happy with how our team's fully shaken up, or fully fledged out, not shaken up. We're not shaken up. We're solidifying our team. You can see it's on Monday and my brain's not working.
It's okay. It's okay. We've been filled to capacity, but with the best of the best here in all facets. And I will leave the listeners on this note, is that TSS will be growing towards the next season. NAIC is this first checkpoint that we're getting to, and we have our players for that. But in the future, we will be growing. So don't hang your head low that you aren't part of the movement of TSS. We will be growing, and also not just for TCG. So I'll put that out there.
Ooh, PJ dropping some spice there.
So there's many things to come for the Shuffle Squad. I know we've hinted at it before. There's many other items that the Shuffle Squad will have that no one else out there, as far as Pokemon teams are concerned, have. And those are some very exciting things that we are working on in the back end for you, as the listener, or as the Pokemon enjoyer, and as potential team members in the future. So thank you so much for listening and being a part of us.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I mean, like PJ said, I think to a little bit more and give you a little bit more sprinklings of knowledge, I think TSS is looking to expand into VGC going forward, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not looking to expand into Go. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're not looking to expand into other TCGs or other Pokemon related games. I think we're Pokemon at our core. But I do know that there's other opportunities to see success there. So as we kind of expand, look for opportunities. If you have any friends who are involved in other areas of our community or other areas of gaming that you think might be a TSS member in their own rights, and that they might align with our values, shoot them a message. Let them know what TSS is, and maybe share this podcast episode with them. A lot of cool stuff going on there. I know this episode's a little bit shorter than what we usually go with, by probably about 10 minutes. But I don't necessarily want to sit here in Babylon when there's information that we gave, and I think there's other things we could cover. But I really like getting to the kind of core of a subject today. Like, we explained our new members, the foundation of why we have those new members, and the future of TSS. I love it. So...
And Zach, where do you think that will be next week? What do you think we're going to be covering next week?
I mean, next week's going to be the full
first
release
week
of Paldea.
The first week in Paldea Evolve decks are out there. People are playing with them even in the late night next week, because we'll have them on PTCG Live.
Well, we also this week, if my math is mathing correctly, We recently, with the late night series, we did a few changes with PTCG Live's ongoing development and updates. We moved some dates around. So we have late night specials. They're going to be on Wednesday this week because Tuesday is an update day. And good luck to everyone who's doing Tuesday on their own right. We're also doing June 9th to kind of make up for some of those events that we lost in the process. We're going to be doing, those are going to be Paldea Evolved Legal. So be sure to check those out and see how that goes. I mean, I think it's going to be an exciting time to see. I want to see what decks pop up. And again, if you want to watch any of that, I just put out the top 10 best Paldea Evolved decks on a TSS YouTube. So TSS is kind of everywhere around you in the Pokemon community. If you're not on our side, you're probably on the wrong side of the community. And if there's anything that you think that we could do a little bit better, or if you ever had any kind of wrong rumblings with Shuffle, let us talk. Let's make it better.
Yeah.
Let's make it right. We just want to talk and drink Kool-Aid and play Pokemon and stuff like that. So that being said, this is the Elhorn Podcast. PJ and Zach on their bullshit every week and talking about good stuff at TSS. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, and we'll catch up with all y'all soon.
Peace out. See you later.
Peace out. The Shuffle Squad proudly uses Ultimate Guard products. We think that their Cortex and Katana sleeves are absolutely fantastic with to play in tournaments. And of course, they have a wide range of products that are simply fantastic. Whether you're looking for a new binder, playmat, or if you're looking for one of the Sidewinder deck boxes you might have seen one of us play with, be sure to check it out. They have their EU web shop, and it's available on Amazon elsewhere. Head on over to atlascollectibles.com and support the Shuffle Squad by buying some of their products. You could get a discount of 6% off of Pokemon TCG booster boxes, so you could grab from a large selection of sealed product, save 6%, or you could save 12% by using code TSS12 on all of their Pokemon TCG singles. Atlas has a large selection and ships worldwide, so be sure to pick up your Pokemon products there. Use code TSS5 at ptcgostore.com to save 5% off your order of Pokemon TCG live codes. They have a great selection of codes available from all different sets at competitive rates. They get instantly emailed to you, so you can use them right away to get all the cards you need to build that next great deck creation. Again, use code TSS5 to save 5% off at ptcgostore.com. Have you ever wanted more content from the Shuffle Squad? Well, we do have a Patreon account. You can support the Shuffle Squad directly by pledging towards our content, whether you want to get access to a special discount code from one of our sponsors, or if you want to have access to all of our deck lists, exclusive Pokemon TCG articles, and more. You can even chat with the Shuffle Squad in Discord. So this really does help support the Shuffle Squad getting to more events, and we do have some amazing articles for you to learn more about. Be sure to sign up to play in the Shuffle Squad's late night events. They happen every single Tuesday night at 12 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Eastern. We have one that's geared towards more of an EU time zone and an NA time zone, but anyone's welcome to play. There's an opportunity to win a trip to Japan for the World Championships, so by all means, feel free to participate in these events for free. You could check out any of the links that we have available in the description. Get coaching from the Shuffle Squad on Metafy. If you want to improve your game on Pokemon TCG, you can absolutely test with the best. We have some of the best players in the world on our team. So whether you want to get coaching from Calvin or our current EUIC champion, Alex Szymanski, or anyone else that's available on Metafy from the Shuffle Squad, pick up some coaching today, become the best player you can be. Thank you so much for supporting the Shuffle Squad by watching this video. It would mean the world to us if you'd like this video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe even leave a comment. You could also click on this other video from the Shuffle Squad to continuously watch and support us. If you haven't got a chance, check out the description to learn more about our sponsors, and that could also help support the Shuffle Squad. Thanks so much for watching. Have yourself a great one.